Good afternoon. Happy Monday. I have been running around like a chicken with its head cut off. I always say I'm busy, but if you only knew all the stuff I do during the day, it has been insane. Insane. And I have an electrician coming here in an hour and a half because we got a quote from an electrician. I need a couple more. The quote was shocking. Quite shocking. Very, very shocking. So I'm having someone come over today to give us a quote on that. And the flooring, to have the floor installed, was another shocking estimate. Between those two estimates, you could easily have bought a new car. Not a new car, a used car. So if we could do the electric ourselves, we would, but we can't. We don't know what we're doing. But we are going to install the floor and save a bunch of money. Later this evening, I will be sharing our new cabinet that we picked up yesterday. Was it yesterday? Today is Monday. Yesterday, Sunday. Yes, it was yesterday. And we met the nicest lady ever. She was so nice. Rob and I both, when we left, we said we could have literally sat there and listened to her talk. She was an older lady. She lived in a cabin that was on her son and daughter-in-law, or daughter and son-in-law's property. And they wanted her there because they wanted to take care of her. I think she's doing well on her own. But this cabin was the cutest little cabin I've ever seen. When we walked into her house, it was a cabin, and it had a living room with a vaulted ceiling, a kitchen. It was very small, but she was the only one that lived there. She had a little sunroom, a bedroom, bathroom, and a loft. They put a loft in there that the kids will crawl up the stairway, and they have a gate so they don't fall out, but of the loft. But her house was filled with antiques and lots of Crocs. And it was, I could have stayed there forever. I'm sure she wouldn't, she wouldn't have appreciated that. But I'm telling you, her house was amazing. I will be sharing the cabinet later on today, and then I have a couple of things that I wanted to share with you too. I have been buying like clothes, shoes, this, that, and the other, and I've just been, I don't want to call myself lazy because I just haven't been here. And there's so much stuff going on with the kitchen. I know that it doesn't make sense, but there's just a lot of stuff that goes on. I'm playing the general contractor. So that's why when I say there's a lot of stuff with the kitchen, because there's a lot of stuff I have to figure out. There's no one person that I can ask, because that person is me. We are doing that. Well, I should say I'm doing the general contracting because I've done it before. I never told you what I did years and years ago. How many years ago? Sid is 26. So he was a year and a half. So let me tell you what I did 25 years ago. I don't know how interesting this story will be to you, but I found it interesting because I didn't know you could do this. When my kid's father and I moved back from Denmark to here, we were looking for a house, and we found a house out by my parents that was basically a farmhouse that sat back in an old farm area, on a farm. And they were getting rid of the house because of insurance reasons. There was a pond. They didn't want to rent it out, etc. I didn't know that you could physically move a house. I had no clue. So we bought this house, this old farmhouse. What we moved was approximately, sorry, I've got a hair in my eye. I can't get it out. The house itself was around 2,200 square feet. There were 3 bedrooms upstairs, and a closet that we eventually turned into a bathroom. And then there was a full bathroom downstairs, living room, dining room, and an extra, you could have called that a bedroom, but we called it a playroom. Sid used to say, I want to fway in the fway room. I almost called it a fway room, but you don't know what that is. Because we got the house for a great, great price, and we were putting it on my mom and my aunt's land. Remember the pig story the other day? My grandmother and grandfather owned 80 acres. So we were moving that house to 1.5 acres on that land. So I had to get 2 different quotes from 2 different moving companies. And I, of course, went with the best quote. And they literally picked up the house and moved it down the lane and down the road. It was about probably 1/2 mile, and set it on the acreage that we wanted. And I was the contractor for that. I did all of that. I had to even contract the electric companies because they had to move the poles out of the way for the house to go down the road. So we moved the house, we set it on a full basement, added a 3-car garage and a bonus room above the garage, and then put a porch on the front. So it was an old German style house with the wooden floors, etc. My dad closed or opened part of the stairway because there was a closed stairway, and I was the contractor. So I know what I'm doing, and I have experience. There's just a lot of work, and that's okay, because if you have the time, you can save the money, because there's a lot of money that will go to a contractor. So anyway, there's a little bit about me that you probably didn't know.
I did it again. I